What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Established Run's NBA Injury Report Analysis Show. I'm Drew Dinkmeyer here with Mike Gallagher, and we're going to cover not only Game 6 tonight, but Game 6 tomorrow and Game 7 on Sunday between Minnesota and Denver. So a little three-pack of injury notes and information with Mike Gallagher. As always, to talk through it, Mike, how are you doing today?
Doing great. Yeah, we joke during the season that Mike Conley is worth 10 points on spread. Maybe a little bit more than that with Mike Conley. So we'll talk. He was injured. We'll get to that. Just really gritty performance, and obviously he was fantastic. Cat was great. We'll get to that. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. Like we said on the pod yesterday, the Pacers haven't lost at home since March 18th. New York's got the momentum. Excited to talk through it with you.
Yep. So let's start there on the New York, Indiana side. The injuries are stagnant. It's the same stuff we've been dealing with on the New York side. No OG Anunoby, no Bojan Bogdanovic, no Julius Randle, no Mitchell Robinson. No expected changes there. They went to Deuce McBride in the starting lineup last game, went to Precious Achiuwa basically as a pure 5 instead of playing him at the 4 alongside Hartenstein. That cut out Jericho Sims until garbage time. So I expect that'll be the approach from New York once again. But any other notes here on the Knicks side of things?
Yeah, on the Knicks side, there was a little overlap in the first half with Hartenstein and Precious, but that went away in the second half, even with the Dante DiVincenzo foul trouble, which pushed up Alec Burks and pushed up a little bit of Deuce McBride. I think Deuce was not really affected, but it was surprising to see Precious not get the overlap as much in the second half. Really got cut down after he was playing a ton in the first half. That was a bit of a surprise. And then, health-wise, I mean, Jalen Brunson, I've been saying it for 3-4 games now that I didn't think the Aaron Nesmith adjustment was effective because of Aaron Nesmith. I thought it was because Brunson was hurt. We saw Brunson have the most pop he's had, destroyed them on drives again to get 27 points on drives. Absolutely masterful performance. If he's healthy, this could definitely be a game changer for them. And then, that small lineup, we talked about it a bunch on the pod, so I won't talk too much more. But, expecting that rotation to be the same. Alec Burks, locked and loaded, has plenty up in the tank according to Tom Thibodeau. We'll see those 7, and that's pretty much it.
Yep. On the Indiana side, Benedict Mathurin listed out here. No other injuries to report on the Indiana side of things. What are your notes here for Indiana in terms of injuries or adjustments for Game 6?
Noteworthy that Halliburton is not listed for the first time since he had that back spasms pregame against the Bucks. Game 4, I want to say. So that's pretty good. I thought he looked okay, but man, he struggled with Deuce. Deuce was a game changer. Talked about it in matchups. They were using Deuce as a screener a bunch to bring Halliburton into action. So they were kind of picking on him, and then they did the pick and pop stuff with Deuce McBride that was really good. A couple really big threes from them on that play. Halliburton will see Deuce McBride on both sides. Deuce was spectacular defensively, took Halliburton out of his rhythm, had no drive. I think he had 6 drives in the whole game. Didn't really score off those either. And they stayed attached to him. When he pops off, it's a lot of off-ball scoring, and that wasn't there. So there's a couple ways you could get him going off-ball, right? Siakam getting the ball a bit more, but probably the easiest thing to say is TJ McConnell, right? You think TJ McConnell probably plays more here. We talked a lot about the Nembhard adjustment to Dante DiVincenzo, who slowed him down. 0 catch and shoot points for Dante DiVincenzo. Actually, attempts, I think, in the last game. Actually, no, I think it was points. But anyways, we'll see what happens there. Aaron Nesmith, kind of the tough one to pull here. We could see him getting pulled down. He's been really cold from 3, 29% on the postseason, I think. And then Ben Shepherd's kind of hot, shooting the 40. So a little push-pull there. And then the rotation, I don't think the rotation is going to change. Normally when you get smoked like that, and you're out of the game pretty much in the first half, you would think adjustments are coming. But as I mentioned, I think Carlisle's is going to trust the home crowd here, but he's really pissed about the effort. Again, you just got killed on the O boards, 12 O boards from Isaiah Hartenstein. So, mostly running it back here. But again, noteworthy that Halliburton is not listed here.
All right, let's move to Oklahoma City and Dallas for Game 6 there. We don't have injury reports for these teams just yet, obviously playing a day in advance here. What is your expectation on we'll start on the road team for this game, Oklahoma City. Their injury report's been clean throughout the whole playoff, so I don't think there's really much to talk about there. We did see the change to the starting lineup with Isaiah Joe Stick at the start of this game, although Josh Giddey played effectively in this game and Isaiah Joe did not. Any notes on the Thunder to pass along for people preparing for the weekend?
Yeah, a lot of poor play from the secondary guys. You could kind of throw J-Dub in there. You could throw basically everyone besides SGA. Lou Dort missed some really easy shots. It just really bad shooting. And we talked a lot about this. Check out the pod. We talked about OKC's game plan mistakes here. So we'll dig into that. We'll send you there for that. But yeah, I think they're running back. I wouldn't be surprised if they start Casey Wallace or Aaron Wiggins. I think they're going to keep Giddey off the bench here. I think once you've kind of done that, you kind of are pot committed here. So yeah, again, no injuries to report here. This game's not too. The game we're talking about next, I've got some good nuggets, but yeah, nothing on OKC side, rotation injury wise.
All right. On the Dallas side of things, we've seen Luka Doncic listed questionable and probable during the course of the series with injury notes. Maxi Kleber and Omax Prosper have been the ones that have been listed out. There was a slight injury update to Maxi Kleber in terms of him starting to do some work, but he was, as the Mavs beats have noted, it was a 3-week evaluation timeline before he would be reevaluated, and that we're about 2 weeks into that right now. So still no imminent return for Maxi Kleber. Luka looked a lot better last game, played exceptionally well, 31, 10, and 11, the type of line we're accustomed to seeing from Luka during the course of the regular season, and just looked like he was able to get to his spots a little bit more cleanly. We've seen that kind of throughout these series, that the health sort of comes and goes and maybe comes back again. In the case with Jamal Murray, we saw like the one game where they had a bunch of days off. He looked great. He looked okay since then, and then looked a little bit hampered. And so with Luka here, what's your read? It is an additional day in between these games than they had been playing instead of the every other day. What's your read on Luka's health at this point?
Yeah, he said he felt pretty good after the game. Like Halliburton getting no listing. The last game that Luka played, it was the first time he was listed as probable. So the injury reporting is rosy. The play certainly speaks louder than the injury reporting will. So yeah, I feel like he's mostly pretty healthy here. Again, the headline is what is the Thunder going to do about giving up all these corner threes? 27% of their shot volume on corner threes is absolutely absurd. So, but yeah, we know the Mavs, but what they've got going here, they did make a rotation change of bringing in Hardy in exchange for Dante Exum. So can't see why they wouldn't change that. And just, my God, Lively, man, just that dude has made such an impact here, really on both ends. That 3/4 court pass from Luka to Lively was probably one of the best passes of the season. The Joker, like behind the back to Aaron Gordon, was a pretty cool one. But yeah, Luka looks to be in pretty good shape here. So that's a great sign for the Mavs at home tomorrow.
All right, and then Game 7 on Sunday, one of maybe 2 Game 7s if Indiana is able to extend their series with the New York Knicks, but Denver and Minnesota. I did not have my eyes on this game, unfortunately. Last night I had some friends in town that I was entertaining, but the score looks like everybody's hurt based on the score, because when you lose by 45, you are hurt. Your feelings are hurt. Your body might be hurting a little bit. An extra day to recover here for the Nuggets. What are your injury notes here on guys like Mike Conley and Jamal Murray who've been playing through injury?
Yeah, Mike Conley said yesterday that he could barely walk 2 days ago. So he was injured, but he was fantastic, man. Just the reads, running the offense. That was the big adjustment, right? We talked about this, taking how do you get the trap off Ant, and we said this the whole time. And I feel very very strongly that the Nuggets weren't going to trap as heavily, but when the game Mike Conley missed, and they just changed their game plan up, and then they basically had and kind of stand in the corner early in the clock and then kind of move into it and get his offense going that way. Ant was actually asked about that, and he was like, yeah, we got Mike Conley back. And then he's like, hey, it's not my job to get those guys going. It's Mike Conley's job. So yeah, really important play from Mike Conley. Again, that dude is worth 10 points on the spread. So yeah, should be good to go. He's gonna tough it out. He played a little more than I thought. I thought he'd be like low 30s, but he was trending for his normal minutes here. So should be a pretty good sign. Overall, and then everybody else is pretty much healthy. Cat was just incredible defensively. No, never any concern on his knee injury that we saw him limp off a couple of games ago. So he's good to go. And yeah, just Jaden McDaniels, A+ game from him. Gobert, we saw Gobert just we took Aaron Gordon under yesterday, and we were a little bit worried about the double and how it could have freed up Gordon. It turns out they weren't doubling with Gobert. They were doubling from the guard positions down to Joker and kind of making the guards beat them, which we'll get to. They did not. Spoiler alert. So, yeah, just again, game plan, execution, and gutting through injuries was for Conley was really, really impressive stuff from one of the most impressive wins I've ever seen.
And then on the Jamal Murray side of things, what are your expectations for how his health is trending into a Game 7 on Sunday.
Yeah, so he got injured again. It was a smaller injury. It was an elbow injury. I want to say halfway through the first, you may have seen him grab his right elbow. And he said after the game, he was asked about why did Anthony Edwards kind of limit him to. So, I mean, that was one of the worst games I've ever seen Jamal Murray play. And he said, it wasn't really Ant, it was me, and my elbow's hurting me. He said he had to get some cream on it to kind of make the pain subside. So now he's got the calf, shooting elbow. Should mention that. So not great, man. Again, that was a just ghastly performance from Jamal Murray. Hands down, the worst player on the court to me. MPJ was terrible too. So yeah, just really, really bad performances Aaron Gordon was pretty good. Nobody else had anything going here. So yeah, they got to bounce back. They'll have the home court in front of them. Been saying it all along, man. This series is so hard to bet. And that's just the way it goes. Because if one of these teams has an A game, it's over. Like, they're going to win, but you don't know that. We haven't really seen. We've seen mostly the Wolves game one it was pretty close, but the Nuggets didn't have their best game, and then game two was nuts, and then the Wolves lost their momentum, and then they got it all back. It's just we've never seen them both have their A games, so maybe we get that Sunday. Obviously, I'm sure you and me and everyone's. I cannot wait for this Game 7, man. I'm so pumped for it. I'm really one of the most probably most excited I've been for a non-finals Game 7 ever.
Yeah, I think it's obviously difficult when these two teams are so good defensively naturally to see like an A game versus an A game, because it's hard when they're both two. Like, you see that generally when they're two like really great offensive teams, you can kind of feel that going. But when it's two really great defensive teams, because your A game is like disrupting the other team, it's generally like harder to see that. But yeah, I would agree that like we saw the Wolves play at their highest level in game 2. And game 6, from what I can tell from the box score, certainly looked that way. And on the Nuggets side of things, games 3 and 5 were just really, really strong from them. So we'll see who comes out on top here, but it's been a great series. These two teams are worthy potential title contenders this year. And it's just a different gauntlet that you have to go through the Western Conference compared to that Eastern Conference, where you just see Boston kind of just skipping along to the finals. And it'll be interesting to see how much these things have carryover effects in terms of health, rhythm, but also stepping up and playing up against top tier competition, both on the positive side and the negative side for a team like Boston as we progress further.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for these are two of the top 3 teams, and one of them's gonna have to go home after Sunday, man. It's tough, but that's the playoff life. And yeah, just Ant's it's chat's noting like the Ant quotes were so good. Post game, he was just talking up Jay McDaniels. Jay McDaniels said after the game that like nobody gives him confidence like Anthony Edwards does. Anthony Edwards is a player and a leader. I bought that dude's jersey, man. I really love that dude. He's just a great player, great guy to watch.
Yeah. For the most part, a lot of accountability in this series from the interviews from all the players. It's been refreshing to watch after not seeing that as much around the league. All right, before we get out of here, someone asked if we could spend a few seconds explaining our season-long package. Most likely they'll be signing up for next season. Thank you for your confidence there. For us on the season-long side, we just have a draft kit. If you're referring to season-long packages that we offer seasonal DFS packages. But those are geared towards daily fantasy sports, daily projections, the contests that you can play on DraftKings, FanDuel, so on and so forth. It's not geared towards like in-season waiver wire analysis and pickups and whatnot. So the season-long coverage that we focus on is specifically our draft kit, which comes with all of Mike Gallagher's content in terms of prepping you for the draft, our preseason projections and rankings, and then also that comes with best ball rankings as well for those that are playing in those underdog contests. So it's a bunch of content there. In terms of the behind the paywall videos that's being asked about, that is our DFS content, where we're breaking down each slate on a daily basis for those of you playing on DraftKings and FanDuel. If you're interested in checking us out behind the paywall, you can go to establishedrun.com/subscribe-MBA. And you will find myself and Mike Gallagher often doing the shows at 5 o'clock Eastern, breaking down the slates. Tonight, there'll be Sam Jaffarinia and Mike Gallagher breaking down the slate at 5 o'clock Eastern from a showdown perspective. If you are a member and were unable to see the show last night, there was a good bit of content in the back half of the show talking about Showdown generally and the approach to it and the strategy to it and whatnot that I think could be useful in terms of playing all these Showdown contests going forward, because outside of maybe Sunday, we're probably done with 2-game slates unless you're playing, the multi-day slates from here on out. It'll just be a lot of showdown. So as always, for those of you supporting us, the best way to do so is to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're just like 35 members short of getting to our goal of 5,000. It is a grind to get to this 5,000 number by the end of the NBA season, but we appreciate your help in doing so. So make sure to subscribe to this channel. You can click the bell to get notifications whenever we post new content. As Mike alluded to, we have our most recent podcast episode up on this YouTube channel, breaking down the series and through Game 5 of all these series that we had seen: Dallas, OKC, Minnesota, Denver, where we talked about Denver's great performance in Game 5, but we also talked about how Minnesota is a very, very good team, and they were very live to continue to extend the series and win the series. That played out last night. So there's previews for Game 6 tonight for New York, Indiana there. That's free. That's on this YouTube channel. You can check that out as well here. And as always, if you're interested in keeping this content free heading into next season, the best way to do so is to smash that like button and feed that algorithm. You feed the algorithm, it helps feed our families and allows us to feed you the NBA injury information analysis you need each and every day to set your DFS lineups and make your spread bets and your prop bets. So smash that like button, feed that algorithm. Nom, 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 nom. We'll see you on Monday. Take care, everybody.